I want to ask you, Prue, about what you've announced so far in the election campaign. It's been a major announcement. You say that you're going to provide an extra 5% overall funding in public schools, and if the federal government doesn't come to the table for an extra 5%, then you'll chip in that as well. You're also making permanent a COVID-intensive extra tutoring program for 46,000 students. Which has cost a lot of money. You've committed $400 million. The coalition says that what you've announced could potentially cost billions. Are you seriously underestimating how much your promises are going to cost, and where are you getting the money from?
No, we're not underestimating that. They're independently cost by the Parliamentary Budget Office. Every single commitment we make to the people of New South Wales at this election will be independently costed by the Parliamentary Budget Office, and that will be there for the people of New South Wales to see. If the government thinks that, if the Liberals and Nationals think they have different costings, they should make that public and actually explain to the people of New South Wales, but they've been independently costed, and really behind all this is a desire on our part to make sure that schools are fully funded so we can actually get to the heart of getting teachers, tutors in front of our kids to start actually doing something about these dramatically falling education outcomes.
Sarah, I was at that press conference where you criticised Prue for the unrealistic expectations of how much everything costs. What's your response?
Well, it's simply not enough money, Kenny. You know, Labor are trying to promise funding to give tuition to every student, to reach the 100% of the SRS, more teachers, more counsellors. There's a lot that they want to get out of that magic bucket of $400 million, which is over 4 years. I mean, take the tuition program. They've committed $200 million to do that over 4 years, which is $50 million a year. Our commitment this year alone is $250 million. It is not enough money. There is no economic plan to pay for it. If you think you're going to be able to fund schools completely and deliver all of those programs for a $400 million fund, they're delusional. There's not enough money.
So Sarah, are you saying that the costings that the Parliamentary Budget Office provide independently to all political parties are wrong?
But are you committing $50 million a year to the tuition program? Is that what you're committing?
Well, actually, what we're saying is we are going to streamline that program, and we're going to make it consistent and available going forward. Sarah, if you're going to be honest with the people of New South Wales, what you have committed to is only a one-year extension.
Well, we've committed
and a
900
one-year
million
extension
over
to
3
get you
years
through an election. To get you through an election, which is exactly the way this government behaves constantly, is not going to do something about the long-term educational decline for our kids.
But $50 million a year to run that program, are you saying that's enough to give every student in New South Wales free tuition? Is that what your costings say?
Our costings say that we can provide tutoring every year going
for every
forward.
Student? Because that's what you've claimed.
Okay,
you stood up and said for every student. Can you do it for $50 million?
We can do it with the costings at the Parliamentary Budget Office.
That's not. What's your costing? What do you know it's going to cost?
Well,
every
the costing, but they're independent costings, and the government are here saying that they're wrong.
So if I can just butt in there, there's a lot to cover here, and I understand what both of you are saying. Sarah, the New South Wales Department of Education permanent teacher vacancy dashboard showed, as of November last year, 3,311 vacancies, 1,819 teachers needed in regional areas, 1,500 teachers in metro areas. Prue has been saying at press conferences we are short thousands and thousands of teachers. You claim that there are almost 10,000 more teachers in the system compared to 10 years ago. Who are we meant to believe in terms of teacher shortages at the moment?
Well, the facts are on the table. There are 10,000 more teachers in the system than there were a decade ago. We've got 95,000 teachers in New South Wales, and in fact our rates of hiring teachers have risen almost twice as fast as student growth. The thing about vacancies, and Labor love talking about the vacancies at the end of the year, that's always when you have the most movement. At the end of January, teacher vacancies were down to about 1,900. So over that summer break, people move, they take up new positions. They're always high at the end of the year. They always come back down at the start of the year. We have policies and programs in place to deliver particularly teachers where we need them, subject areas where we need them, rural and remote communities where I live. My children go to our local public school in Country Town in New South Wales. We're very committed to making sure we've got the teachers that we need. We've got a range of initiatives under our teacher supply strategy to bring people into the profession, new programs to help modernise, shorter opportunities when it comes to masters, fast stream for great school leaders. All of this is being delivered by our government. It's funded and it's making a difference in the communities where we need teachers the most.
Prue, there's nothing... Is this all just these vacancies, just the time of year?
No, they're not. And to hear the Minister say there's only 1,900 vacancies. We've got children who in merged classes, minimal supervision. We've got thousands and thousands of teachers short. And the Minister for Education is here actually saying it's not a problem. So if we're going to actually use data, let's use all the numbers. If you say there's more teachers in the system, why don't we talk about how many are actually voluntarily resigning? For the last 12 months, for the first time ever, resignations actually for the first time outweighed retirements. So it's beyond comprehension, I think, to so many parents in New South Wales who hear their children talking about these stories, that the government's response would be, don't look over there, look over here. It's actually not an issue. Shouldn't the government really be acknowledging we are thousands of teachers short and have a plan to deal with it?
We do
Some
have
of your
plan.
programs, Sarah, you know the recruitment beyond New South Wales. You promised almost 500 teachers. Has recruited, what, 11? Like, that's not a program to actually recruit thousands of teachers. How are we going to actually get to the bottom of these declining outcomes if we don't get teachers in front of our kids? That's what parents say to me in my electorate in Western Sydney. They're worried about their kids' future because they're not having one-on-one time with a teacher. What other more important job is there for a government?
Well, again, you know, talk about being selective in facts. You haven't got one policy to bring even one new teacher into the system from New South Wales Labor.
That's plainly not true.
Well, please, respectfully, let me respond to what you've said. The fact is we've got 2,200 public schools across the state, which means 80% of schools have either one vacancy or none. And I think those facts are important to put on the table. We have a range of measures under our teacher supply strategy. One is recruitment beyond New South Wales, and we've got about 12,000 people who are interested in applying. We've got 450 going through the accreditation processes. These are people who are trained teachers who are happy to come in out to teach in our rural and regional schools. I actually had an email from one of them last week who's teaching in the Central West who said, thank you, I'm here, I'm teaching for this community. Labor want to cut that program. Victorian Labor are doing something similar. We've got a National Teacher Workforce Action Plan that all states have signed up to, mainly Labor governments, which very much mirrors what we're doing here in teacher supply. So, you know, I think there's a good track record when it comes to delivering more teachers where we need them, and that's important.